Hey everybody, Mike Walter with my video of the week. I want to make a comment this week on an article that was trending all over the internet last week about a couple whose wedding was ruined by a photographer, or in a couple different places I saw her called an amateur photographer over in England. And if you read the article and kind of paid attention to the details, this couple hired this photographer and then they claimed she ruined her wedding. And respectfully, I would say to this couple, this photographer did not ruin your wedding. You ruined your wedding when you hired a photographer who was inexperienced and who told you that and was charging well below market value, if given the fact that you valued photography. And I think that's the key here, and it's the key that I try to make with clients. A quick Google search for me showed that the average wedding photographer over in England commands anywhere from £1,200 to £2,000. I've seen quotes for £2,500. This specific wedding photographer that this couple hired was charging £500. She's 20 years old, and not to knock a 20-year-old, but how much experience could a 20-year-old have? And she admitted to this couple that she was up and coming, so there are some articles that call her an amateur. And as it turned out, the images were kind of crappy. She showed up late, and I thought it was actually a funny aside that she took a lot of pictures. She took a lot of selfies in the photo booth. I think that was actually kind of comical. But my point to that couple would be, you ruined your own wedding by choosing this photographer if you value photography. And my message to you and everyone in our industry is, what can we do to combat this? We need to continue to educate our clients, and even if they don't become our clients, but people, brides and grooms, because let's face it, bride and groom only does this once, right? For the most part, maybe twice in their life, but maybe they think they can go on Craigslist and find the cheapest, and maybe some people do think, although I think it's kind of weak to think this, that all photographers are the same, all DJs are the same, all banquet halls are the same, and it's silly to think that. And what we need to do is continue to educate the general public that paying well below market value, or the average for that service in your area, is a risky proposition. You may get good service. There's no guarantee that you're going to get horrible service by paying well below, but the risk factor increases if you pay well below. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are a supply and demand. Well, every economy is supply and demand, but we have such limited dates that we can work in our industry. We can't work, 250 nights. I mean, obviously if you do clubs you can, but we have such limited dates that anyone who has experience and gets a decent amount of referrals is going to charge a decent rate for their service, because they can get it, and there are only a limited number of Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays in our calendar. So we need to continue to educate. As a matter of fact, I wrote a blog about this recently. I'll put the URL up here. If you'd like to share the blog, you're more than welcome to. And sharing the blog might actually help, because this way it's not you saying this, it's you sharing this from another wedding industry expert sharing this sentiment and these words. And my whole point in this blog isn't that you shouldn't cut any corners, but my point in this blog is, you as the bride and groom need to figure out what your priorities are and what your priorities aren't. And I've made the point that I have no problem with clients who get a $400 DJ off of Craigslist. I don't think there's any problem with that, as long as that bride and groom doesn't prioritize entertainment. Because if you prioritize entertainment, then you'd be a fool. If the entertainment is horrible at your wedding, and you would therefore turn around and say, that DJ ruined my wedding, like this couple is saying this photographer did, then you're an idiot for skimping and trying to get something well below market value. But listen, there are some brides and grooms who think the dancing is not really that important, don't need any announcements made, don't really care if the sound is professional or not. So for people like that, go get the cheapest DJ on Craigslist. If you don't care about your wedding pictures, then go get the cheapest DJ photographer you can find. And maybe somebody like this young girl who said, I'm up and coming and looking to make a name for myself. Roll the dice there. But if it's a service that is essential to you, and if it's a service that if it goes wrong at your wedding, you're going to think my wedding was ruined, then you're an idiot to skimp. So I think that's what we need to do. We just need to continue to educate. That's my video of the week.
If I had a photograph of you, or something to remind me, I wouldn't spend my life just wishing